step into a world where imagination knows no bounds, where each story is a portal to enchanting realms and magical adventures. Welcome to Cozy Dream Tales, where every tale weaves a tapestry of warmth and wonder to guide you into the realm of dreams. As the day draws to a close, and the stars begin to twinkle in the velvety sky, let us embark on a journey together. With each word whispered and each scene painted, let your mind wander to distant lands where dragons roam and fairies dance under the moonlit sky. Close your eyes and surrender to the gentle embrace of storytelling. Feel the cozy embrace of blankets and the soft glow of light enveloping you as you drift into a world where anything is possible. Let Cozy Dream Tales be your guide as you embark on a journey of imagination and whimsy, where dreams come to life in the most enchanting ways. The Porcupine's Protection. The Forest of Friendship. In the heart of the emerald forest of friendship, where trees whispered of old and the books babbled tales of yore, lived Percy, a porcupine of peculiar poise and grace. Percy's sleek curls shimmered under the sun's caress, a natural armor that protected him from the world's woes. Yet, this very armor that shielded him also built walls between him and other forest dwellers. Percy longed for the warmth of companionship, for friends who would see beyond his spiky exterior to the true soul that resided within. However, his attempt at friendship was met with hesitation and fear. The rabbits would hop away at his approach, the birds would take flight, and even the friendly foxes would keep a cautious distance. One radiant morning, as raindrops danced upon the leaves, and the dawn chorus filled the air with melodies, Percy sat beneath the canopy of his favorite oak tree, pondering his solitude. How can I bridge the gap between myself and the others? He wondered. Is there a way to keep my eels from pushing everyone away? Lost in thought, Percy didn't notice Luna, the wise old owl, perching on a branch above him until she spoke, her voice as smooth as the night's embrace. Percy, my dear, it seems you are troubled. Share with me your woes, for the night has lent me its wisdom, and I shall offer it to you. Encouraged by Luna's kindness, Percy shared his heart's burden, expressing his deep desire for connection and the pain of being eternally misunderstood. Luna listened intently, her eyes reflecting the moon's understanding. My dear Percy, the forest is a tapestry of tales, each creature with its own story, its own fears, and its own dreams. Though they may seem a barrier, or also a gift, it is in understanding and accepting this duality that you will find the key to unlocking the friendships you seek. Percy looked up at Luna, her words igniting a flicker of hope within him. But how do I begin, Luna? How do I show the others that beneath these lies a heart yearning for friendship? Luna's gaze softened, and she replied, Again by attending the gathering at Glen's Glade tonight. There, among the shared stories and open hearts, you will find your answer. With a heart now fluttering with the possibility of change, Percy thanked Luna and made his way towards Glen's Glade, the meeting place of all forest creatures, under the blanket of twilight. Perhaps, he thought, this night would mark the beginning of a new chapter in his life, one filled with the friendship and understanding he so deeply craved. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of pink and gold, Percy's journey to bridge the gap between himself and the others had just begun. As the last rays of the sun kissed the earth goodbye, and twilight began to weave its magic across the forest of friendship, creatures of every shape and size made their way to Glen's Glade. The glade, a clearing where the moonlight danced freely upon the grass, was a place of unity and peace, where all could speak and be heard. Percy, with a mixture of anticipation and nervousness, arrived as the assembly was about to begin. The sight before him was one of wonder. Fireflies lit the space with their gentle glow, casting a soft light on the gathered audience. From the smallest mouse to the largest bear, every creature had a place in the circle of companionship that formed around the Gladden's ancient stone, the Speaker's Rock. Taking a deep breath, Percy found a spot near the edge of the circle, his nails dimly reflecting the firefly light. He watched as Luna, the guardian of the night and the keeper of wisdom, took her place upon the Speaker's Rock. Her presence commanded silence, and a hush fell over the assembly, for nuns of the forest. Luna began, her voice carrying the weight of the night's serenity. We gather here under the canopy of stars to share, to listen, and to understand. Tonight, let us weave the fabric of our community stronger, sharing tales of joy, of sorrow, and of dreams. One by one, creatures stepped forward to share their stories. A squirrel spoke of the joy in finding a new cache of nuts. A deer recounted the sorrow of losing a friend to the winter's harshness, and a rabbit shared dreams of creating the safest burrow. With each tale, Percy felt his heart grow warmer, and the distance between him and the others seemed to lessen. As the night deepened, Percy felt an edge of courage. Perhaps it was time for him to share his own tale, to open his heart to those who had opened theirs. With a quivering heart, he made his way to the Speaker's Rock, Luna's encouraging nod guiding him forward. Standing before the assembly, Percy took a moment to gather his thoughts. Viands. He began, his voice a mere whisper, which grew stronger with each word. I stand before you as Percy, a porcupine with a heart full of hope. My equals, though they may seem a barrier, are but a part of me. Beneath them lies a desire for friendship, for connection. He paused, looking into the eyes of his fellow forest dwellers, seeing not fear but understanding and empathy. They seek to learn how we might bridge the gap that my cuttles unwittingly created. How can we build a world where respect for personal space fosters stronger bonds of friendship? The glade was silent, save for the rustling of leaves in a gentle night breeze. Then, one by one, voices rose in support, offering words of encouragement, understanding, and advice. Or seemed his heart swelling with hope and gratitude. As the gathering came to a close, Percy realized that by sharing his vulnerability, he had opened a door to potential friendships built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. The night at Glen's Glade had shown him that the first step towards bridging any gap was to reach out, to share, and to listen. With a heart lighter than it had been for a long time, Percy made his way home under the scarlet sky, pondering the lessons learned on the journey ahead. In the serene aftermath of the gathering at Glenn's Glade, as the assembly dispersed under the cloak of night, Percy found himself lingering. The words shared and the warmth of potential friendships filled his heart with a newfound hope. It was then that Luna, the wise old owl, glided silently towards him, her feathers barely stirring the air. Luna began, her voice as comforting as the moonlight. Your courage tonight has opened many eyes and hearts, not least your own. Percy looked up at her, his eyes reflecting the complex emotions swirling within. Thank you, Luna. But I find myself pondering more deeply about the lessons of tonight. How do I navigate the fine line between protecting myself and allowing others in? Luna regarded him with a gaze that seemed to pierce the veil of night itself. "Ah, Percy, the balance you seek is not found in the absence of your quills, but in the understanding of when and how to use them. My journey, my dear, is one of learning the art of boundaries." She hopped closer, the moon casting her shadow across the forest floor. Boundaries are not walls, Percy. They are the gates to our gardens, inviting those we trust to enter and enjoy the beauty within, while also safeguarding our most precious treasures. Percy mulled over her words, the metaphor taking root in his mind. But how do I learn this art, Luna? How do I know when to open my gates and when to protect my garden? Luna's eyes twinkled with a wisdom born of countless nights spent watching over the forest. Listen and observe, Percy. Each creature in our forest communicates their boundaries in their own way. The skunk lifts its tail, the hedgehog rolls into a ball, and the bird takes flight. Each action speaks to their needs and their comfort. Watch them, learn from them, and you will start to see the ways you can communicate your own boundaries. She paused, allowing her words to settle like dew upon the grass. But I remember, Percy, the most important lesson in setting boundaries is knowing yourself. Understand what makes you feel safe, valued, and respected. From this understanding, your boundaries will naturally arise, and with them, the respect of others. Percy absorbed Lennon's teachings, feeling as though a new path was unfolding before him, one illuminated by the gentle glow of understanding and self-awareness. Thank you, Luna. I see now that my journey is not just about seeking acceptance from others, but about understanding and respecting myself. Luna nodded, her eyes softening. Exactly, Percy. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. The forest, with all its diversity and wisdom, is here to guide and support you. With a flutter of wings, Luna took to the sky, leaving Percy beneath the canopy of stars, his heart lighter and his purpose clearer. He knew the path ahead would not be without its challenges, but armed with the lessons of the night, he felt ready to face them. As the first light of dawn began to paint the sky, Percy made his way home, his thoughts filled with the lessons from Luna the Owl. The night had not only brought him closer to his fellow forest dwellers, but had also opened his eyes to the importance of understanding and respecting his own boundaries. As the new day dawned in the forest of friendship, its golden light filtering through the dense canopy, Percy set out with a renewed sense of purpose. The lessons from Luna resonated deeply within him, stirring a quiet determination to practice setting and respecting boundaries, both his own and those of others. His first test came sooner than he expected. While meandering through the dew-kissed underbrush, Percy encountered Bella, a young rabbit known for her boundless energy and curiosity. She bounded up to Percy, her enthusiasm unchecked, coming uncomfortably close. "Percy, did you see the sunrise today? It was beautiful. You should have been there with me," Bella exclaimed, her nose twitching excitedly, oblivious to Percy's discomfort. Percy, mindful of Luna's teachings, sought to establish his boundary gently yet firmly. "Bella, I appreciate your excitement, and I'm sure the sunrise was beautiful. I need a bit more space to feel comfortable. Could you please step back a little?" Bella paused, her ears drooping slightly in surprise. It was the first time someone had voiced such a request to her. "Oh? I'm sorry, Percy. I didn't realize," she stammered, taking a few hops back. "Is this better?" "Yes. Thank you, Bella. And enjoy our conversations more when I have a bit of space," Percy replied, grateful for her understanding. The interaction left Percy feeling empowered. He had successfully communicated his boundary in a way that was respectful and clear. The ease with which Bella respected his request bolstered his confidence. Encouraged by this positive experience, Percy continued his journey through the forest, practicing setting boundaries with others he met. Not all encounters were as smooth as the one with Bella. At times, Percy had to assert his boundaries more firmly, especially with those unaccustomed to considering the personal space of others. However, with each interaction, Percy's understanding of his own comfort levels grew, as did his ability to communicate them. As the day progressed, word of Percy's newfound assertiveness spread through the forest. Some admired his courage, while others were puzzled by this change. But all were watching, curious to see the impact of Percy's journey on the community's dynamics. The day's lessons culminated in an unexpected encounter with Gideon, the gruff old badger known for his disregard for personal space. Gideon, having heard of Percy's actions, approached him with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "I've been hearing tales of your newfound voice, setting boundaries. Are we?" Gideon grumbled, his tone carrying a hint of challenge. Percy, feeling a twinge of nervousness, stood his ground. "Yes, Gideon. I've learned the importance of respecting and communicating personal space. It makes for healthier relationships." Gideon eyed him for a moment, then, to Percy's surprise, nodded. "Perhaps there's wisdom in your words, Percy. The forest is changing, and maybe we ought to change with it." The day's end found Percy reflecting on the range of responses he had encountered. The challenge of boundaries, he realized, was not just in setting them, but also in navigating the varied reactions of others. As he settled down for the night, Percy felt a sense of accomplishment. He had faced the challenge of boundaries head-on, learning much about himself and his fellow forest dwellers. The journey was far from over, but Percy now knew that with respect, understanding, and a bit of courage, change was possible. As twilight draped its velvet shroud over the forest of friendship, Percy found himself nestled in a cozy nook at the base of an ancient oak, the events of the day replaying in his mind like a melody. The moon, a silver sentinel, cast a gentle glow, illuminating his thoughts and lending the night an air of introspection. Percy pondered the lessons learned and the boundaries set, the interactions both harmonious and challenging. Each encounter had woven a thread into the fabric of his understanding, revealing the complex tapestry of relationships within the forest. He realized that setting boundaries was not just about asserting his needs, but also about fostering mutual respect and empathy among all forest dwellers. The reflection brought Percy to consider the delicate balance of the forest ecosystem. Just as each plant and creature had a role in maintaining the harmony of the forest, so too did the respect for personal space contribute to the well-being of its inhabitants. Percy understood now that boundaries were not barriers but bridges connecting hearts and minds in a dance of coexistence. His thoughts wandered to the stories his grandmother had told him, tales of times when the forest was young and understanding was the currency of peace. Percy felt a kinship with those ancient tales, a sense of continuity and responsibility. He realized that his journey was not just his own, but a chapter in the ongoing saga of the forest, a legacy of learning and growth. The night deepened, and with it, Percy's resolve strengthened. He knew that the path ahead would require courage, patience, and persistence. There would be moments of doubt and misunderstanding, but there would also be moments of connection and breakthrough. Percy embraced the complexity of his quest, understanding that the true essence of living was found in the richness of experience, the depth of understanding, and the courage to grow. As the first hints of dawn began to pierce the night's veil, Percy's heart was filled with a quiet hope. He had witnessed the beginnings of change, both within himself and within the forest. The journey of setting and respecting boundaries had illuminated the interdependence of all life, teaching him that true strength lay in vulnerability and respect. A night of reflection had been a crucible, refining Percy's spirit and vision. He emerged from it not just as a porcupine seeking to protect himself, but as a guardian of the forest's harmony, a beacon of understanding and respect. As the first rays of the sun broke through the darkness, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, Percy stirred from his place of contemplation. The night had been a crucible of reflection, and with the dawn, a sense of clarity and purpose enveloped him. He stood up, stretching his quills in the morning light, ready to embrace the day and the decisions that lay before him. Percy had realized that his journey was not merely about setting boundaries for his protection, but also about nurturing a culture of respect and understanding within the forest of friendship. The lessons of the night had solidified his resolve to lead by example, to become a beacon of change that could inspire others to see the beauty in respecting personal space and honoring individual needs. With determination in his heart, Percy decided to embark on a quest to share his insights and experiences with the forest's inhabitants. He envisioned gatherings where creatures of all kinds could come together to learn from each other, to share their stories, and to build a community grounded in mutual respect and empathy. The fourth step, he knew, would go to Rito to Luna, the wise owl whose guidance had sparked his journey. Together, they could plan a gathering, a forum where the forest dwellers could engage in open dialogue about boundaries, respect, and coexistence. Percy believed that by fostering understanding and communication, the forest could become a place where every creature felt valued and safe. A true forest of friendship. With his decision made, Percy set off towards Lena's abode, his spirit buoyed by the promise of the new day. The forest seemed to sense his purpose, its inhabitants watching with curiosity and an emerging sense of hope. Percy's mission resonated with many, touching a chord in the hearts of those who had longed for change, but had not known where to begin. As he reached Lona's tree, the wise owl greeted him with an understanding gaze. "Percy, the light of dawn brings clarity and purpose. I see you found yours," Luna said, her voice soft, yet imbued with strength. Percy shared his vision with Luna, speaking of gatherings, of shared stories, and of a community built on respect. Luna listened intently, nodding in agreement. "Your journey has brought you wisdom, Percy. This vision of yours, it's what the forest needs. A new way forward grounded in understanding and respect." Together, they began to plan, envisioning a gathering that would mark the beginning of a new chapter for the Forest of Friendship. Word of the upcoming events spread quickly, stirring a sense of anticipation and curiosity among the forest dwellers. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, marking the end of the chapter and the beginning of a new journey, Percy looked out over the forest, his heart full of hope. He had made his decision at dawn, choosing a path of leadership and transformation. The road ahead would be filled with challenges and learning, but Percy knew that with each step, he was weaving a new story for the forest, a tale of harmony, respect, and friendship. The dawn of a new day in the Forest of Friendship heralded not just the sun's rise, but the rise of a new era, one where boundaries were respected and every creature had a voice. Percy, once a simple porcupine seeking protection, had become a leader, a catalyst for change in the tapestry of the forest's life. And so the first chapter of Percy's tale closes, leaving the forest on the cusp of transformation, awaiting the adventures and lessons that the gatherings would bring. The journey for Joe was of wisdom. In the heart of the Forest of Friendship, beyond the well-trodden trails and beneath the ancient canopy, lies the pathless prairie. A link entwined with brambles and whispers, a path that only the bravest dare to tread. It was here that Percy, with the wisdom of the night's reflection guiding him, set his goals towards the next chapter of his journey. The path less pricked was not merely a physical challenge, but a metaphor for the journey of life itself, filled with obstacles that tested one's resolve, courage, and ability to navigate through life's prickliest challenges. With each step, Percy felt the weight of his quest pressing upon him, yet within his heart, a flame of determination burned brightly, illuminating the shadows cast by doubt. As Percy ventured deeper into the path, the underbrush thickened and the shadows grew longer. Thorns and brambles reached out as if to challenge his passage, whispering tales of those who had turned back, daunted by the path's trials. Yet, Percy pressed onward, his ulcrils a shield against the physical and metaphorical thorns that sought to deter him. It was then that Percy heard a gentle rustling, a sound that seemed to carry the wisdom of the ages. He paused, listening closely, and realized he was not alone. The elder trees, ancient guardians of the forest, watched over him, their leaves whispering secrets of resilience and growth. Percy, Mama the eldest of them, a towering oak whose branches scraped the heavens. To navigate the path thus pricked, one must understand that obstacles are not barriers, but teachers. They challenge us to grow, to adapt, and to find strength we never knew we possessed. The elder trees, having witnessed the cycles of the forest for centuries, shared with Percy the history of the forest, tales of harmony and discord, growth and decay. They spoke of the importance of understanding one's roots, of grounding oneself in the knowledge of the past to navigate the present and shape the future. With each word, Percy felt a deep connection to the forest and its history, an understanding that he was part of something much larger than himself. He realized that the path he walked was not just his own, but one each tread by many before him, each step a stitch in the fabric of the forest story. Fortified by the wisdom of the elder trees, Percy found new resolve. The path ahead seemed less daunting, the thorns less threatening. He moved with grace, each step a dance between shadow and light, challenge and triumph. As the path began to clear, the dense brambles giving way to a sun-dappled clearing, Percy understood that the first leg of his journey had imparted a crucial lesson in thus praised grace and understanding, that the wisdom of those who have walked before us like the way forward. The path less pricked had tested Percy, but it had also taught him. He emerged from its embrace not just unscathed, but enriched, carrying with him the lessons of resilience, the importance of roots, and the grace to navigate life's challenges. With the elder trees echoing in his heart, Percy continued his journey, each step a testament to the courage and wisdom gained on the path less pricked. In the wake of the wisdom imparted by the elder trees, Percy found himself lingering in the glade, enveloped by the profound silence that follows profound truth. The elder trees, having shared the history of the forest and the importance of understanding one's roots, now stood as silent sentinels, their presence a comforting reminder of the forest's deep, living memory. Percy, feeling a newfound sense of connection to the forest and its ancient guardians, approached them with a request. Elder trees. He began, his voice echoing softly in the gloom. You have shared with me the history of our forest, the cycles of harmony and discord. But how might I, a simple porcupine, contribute to our story? How can I use what I have learned to foster understanding and respect among all who dwell here? The trees swaying gently in the breeze seemed to consider his question. Then the eldest among them, a majestic oak whose roots delved deep into the earth, replied, Percy, you seek the jaws of wisdom, a symbol of the knowledge and understanding you yearn to spread. Yet wisdom is not merely a treasure to be found. It is a journey, a living tapestry woven from the threads of experience and passion and courage. The elder trees then shared tales of those who had come before, creatures of all kinds who had faced their own challenges, and through courage and compassion had left their mark upon the forest story. They spoke of the power of listening, of understanding the unsaid, and of seeing the world through another's eyes. Through wisdom, they whispered, lies in the harmony of voices in the chorus of the forest's life. Each creature, each plant, each stone has a story, a piece of the larger puzzle. By listening, understanding, and respecting these stories, you weave the tapestry of our collective history. Percy listened intently, his heart filling with purpose. He realized that his journey for the jaws of wisdom was not just about acquiring knowledge, but about becoming a vessel for the wisdom of the forest. A mediator that bring together the diverse forces of the forest in a symphony of mutual respect. And as the moon began to rise, casting silver light upon the glade, Percy thanked the alder trees for their guidance. "We understand now, as he said, his voice steady and full of resolve. The journey for the jaws of wisdom is a journey of connection, of weaving the stories of the forest into a tapestry of unity. I am ready to continue, to listen, to understand, and to share, with the blessings of the elder trees whispering in the wind." Percy set forth from the glade, the moonlight guiding his steps. Ahead lay the next part of his journey, a moonlit encounter that would teach him the power of listening to the unsaid, a lesson vital for the steward of the jewels of wisdom. Under the watchful eye of the moon, its silvery light casting a serene glow over the forest of friendship, Percy continued his journey. The wisdom of the elder trees had ignited a spark within him, a desire to weave the myriad stories of the forest into a harmonious tapestry. That the path to wisdom was labyrinthine, filled with lessons yet to be learned, truths yet to be unveiled. As the clock struck the witching hour when the world said to whisper secrets to those willing to listen, Percy found himself in a part of the forest where the moonlight seemed to touch the earth more intimately. Here the midnight murmurs began, a phenomenon known only to those who ventured through the forest with hearts open and minds clear. The air around him thrummed with the subtle vibrations of the forest's nocturnal life, each creature contributing its voice to the night symphony. Percy, remembering the elder trees, lesson on the power of listening, stilled his mind and opened his senses to the world around him. It was then that the moon's message became clear, a whisper on the wind, a melody in the moonlight. And Percy, it seemed to say, the wisdom you seek is not a destination but a journey. It lies in the understanding that every voice, no matter how faint, holds a story worth hearing. The message resonated with Percy, its truth as clear as the moonlight that bathed him. He realized that his quest for the jaws of wisdom was not merely about gathering knowledge, but about learning to listen, truly listen to the murmurs of the world around him. Every rustle of the leaves, every ripple of the brook, every sigh of the wind carried a story, a piece of the greater whole. With this revelation, Percy's journey took on a new dimension. He began to move through the forest not as a seeker of wisdom, but as a listener of tales, each step guided by the moon's ethereal light. The forest, in turn, seemed to open up to him, its inhabitants more willing to share their stories, their hopes, and their fears. As the night deepened, Percy encountered creatures of all kinds, each with a story to tell. A fox spoke of the thrill of the hunt under the moon's gaze, a lesson in ambition and the drive to pursue one's desires. A moth, drawn to the moon's glow, shared its tale of attraction and the risks we take for love. And from the shadows, a wise old turtle whispered of patience, of the strength found in waiting for the right moment. Percy listened to each tale, his heart swelling with the realization that wisdom was not just the accumulation of knowledge, but the synthesis of experiences, the understanding of life's myriad facets. The midnight murmurs, once just a whisper, now roared in his ears, a cacophony of life's complexities and beauties. As dawn approached, the moon's message lingered in Percy's mind, a guiding star on his journey. Listen, It whispered one last time as it dipped below the horizon. For in listening, you will find the wisdom you seek. With the first light of dawn, Percy knew that he had crossed the threshold. No longer was he merely a traveler on a path, but a guardian of stories, a vessel for the wisdom that flowed through the forest. The midnight murmurs had taught him the power of listening, of understanding the unsaid, and he carried this lesson in his heart as he continued his quest for the jaws of wisdom. As the new day dawned, painting the forest of friendship in hues of gold and amber, Percy's journey led him to the banks of a river. This was no ordinary river. It had risen on among the forest dwellers as the whispering waters. For it was said that the river could speak to those who were willing to listen. Its waters held the reflections of countless stories, secrets, and sagas that had unfolded along its banks. Percy approached the river, its waters glistening under the morning sun, a mirror to the sky above. He remembered the moon's message, listen, for in listening, you will find the wisdom you seek, and wondered what lessons the river might have to share. As he sat by the water's edge, watching the gentle flow, the river spoke. Its voice, a soft murmur mingling with the rustle of the leaves. Percy, it began. You cross my waters and continue your journey. You must solve the riddle. Listen closely. I am the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end, and the end of every race. What am I, Paul? He pondered the riddle, the words echoing in his mind. The beginning of eternity, the end of time and space. As he wrestled with the puzzle, a voice called out to him, a voice that was both deep and delicate. The river's riddle, were we? The speaker was an old frog, perched on a lily pad, its eyes glowing with a mixture of wisdom and mischief. Many have sat where you sit, grappling with the river's challenge. Perhaps I can offer a fable to help guide your thoughts. Grateful for the interruption and curious about the frog's tale, Percy nodded. The frog cleared his throat and began. In the heart of the forest, there lived a bird who loved to fly higher than any other. This bird believed that the higher it flew, the more important it became. It soared above the trees, above the clouds, seeking to reach the sun. But in its pursuit, it failed to see the beauty of the world below, the richness of life on the ground, and the value of the connections with those who dwelled beneath the mountain. The frog paused, its gaze fixed on Percy. The bird, in its pride, became isolated, distant from the world it deemed too lowly. It wasn't until a storm cut its wings, forcing it to live among the forest-floor's creatures, that it realized the truth. The true value of life lay not in how high one could soar, but in the connections one made, in understanding and appreciating the world from different perspectives. Percy listened intently, the fable weaving its way into his heart. As he contemplated the frog's words, the answer to the river's riddle dawned on him. The letter D, he said aloud. It is the beginning of the eternity, the end of end. And time, it being. And the version me fully laughed. A seven but well solved, Percy. You have listened and understood. Remember, wisdom lies in seeing the value in every perspective, in appreciating the journey at every level. As Percy crossed the river, he reflected on the frog's fable and the river's riddle. The lessons of the day were clear, and true wisdom required understanding from all perspectives, not just the lofty or the lowly, but the rich tapestry of experiences that formed the world. With a heart lighter and a mind enriched, Percy continued his journey. The river's riddle and the frog's fable etched in his memory as reminders of the depth and breadth of wisdom's reach. On the river, where the whispering waters flowed silently into the unknown, this place, shrouded in mystery, was said to be the dwelling of ancient echoes, where the voices of the past and future intertwined. It was here that Percy hoped to confront his fears and emerge with the jaws of wisdom. As he approached the cave, a chilling breeze whispered through the trees, carrying voices so faint they were like the brush of butterfly wings against his ears. Percy paused, gathering his courage. The entrance to the cave yawned before him, a mouth of darkness that promised to swallow light and hope. Drawing a deep breath, Percy stepped into the shadow. The cool dampness of the cave enveloped him, and the world outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the echo of his footsteps as company. The deeper he ventured, the louder the whispers grew, weaving a tapestry of tales that spoke of bravery, fear, love, and loss. The voices seemed to call out to Percy, sharing stories of those who had come before him. Some tales spoke of triumph, others of despair, but all carried a thread of wisdom. Percy listened, his heart open, understanding that these were not just tales of old but lessons for the brave of heart. In the heart of the cave, where darkness seemed to press in from all sides, Percy found himself in a chamber that pulsed with a soft ethereal light. Here, the whispers grew more insistent, surrounding him with a cacophony of voices that seemed to pierce his very soul. It was in this moment of overwhelming sound that Percy realized what the Cave of Whispers sought to teach him. To find the jaws of wisdom, he must confront his own insecurities, his fears, and the voices within that whispered of doubt and failure. Closing his eyes, Percy centered himself, reaching deep into his heart, where his strength lay. One by one, he acknowledged his fears, not to banish them, but to understand them, to accept them as part of his journey. As he opened his heart to the whispers, the chamber's light grew brighter, and the voices began to harmonize, their discordant notes melting into a melody of profound clarity. In that moment of unity, Percy felt a profound shift within him. The cave, sensing his transformation, responded. From the heart of the chamber, a pedestal rose, cradling an object that gleamed with an inner light. It was the jaws of wisdom, not a weapon as one might expect, but a mirror. As Percy approached, the mirror reflected not just his image, but the essence of his journey, the challenges he had faced, and the jaws of wisdom. It seemed were not about wielding power over others, but about understanding oneself, about recognizing the strength that comes from facing one's fears and embracing one's vulnerabilities with a heart full of gratitude. Percy reached out and took the mirror, feeling the warmth spread through him, a sign that the wisdom of the cave was now a part of him. As he left the Cave of Whispers, their voices bid him farewell. Their whispers, now a comforting presence in his mind, a reminder of the journey he had undertaken and the growth he had achieved. Percy emerged from the cave transformed, not just by the wisdom he had gained, but they're the understanding that true strength lay in the courage to face one's fears and the wisdom to live from them. With the jaws of wisdom in hand, he was ready to return to the forest of friendship, to share the lessons of his journey with those who awaited his return. With the mystical mirror, a jaws of wisdom, Sophie nestled in his palms, Percy began his journey back to the heart of the forest of friendship. The path for once seemed fraught with peril now, unfolded with a serene beauty, reflecting the inner peace Percy had found within the Cave of Whispers. The forest greeted him with open branches, its creatures come forth to witness the return of the brave Porcupine, who had embarked on a quest not just for himself but for the betterment of all who called the forest home. Percy moved among them, a quiet smile gracing his features, his eyes alight with the wisdom of his journey. As he reached the clearing where his journey had begun, the animals of the forest gathered, their eyes full of curiosity and wonder. Percy looked around at the faces of his friends, each one a companion in the story of his life, and realized that the true gift of the jaws of wisdom was not just for him to keep, but for him to share. With a gentle voice, Percy began to recount his adventures, from the pathless prick to the Cave of Whispers. He spoke of the lessons learned from the elder trees, the insights gained from the moon's message, the perspective found in the riddle of the river, and the courage confronted in the whispers of the cave. As he shared his story, Percy held up a mirror, allowing each creature to gaze upon their reflection. But this was no ordinary mirror. It reflected not just their outward appearance, but their innermost selves, revealing the strength, courage, and wisdom that resided within each of them. The animals of the forest were awestruck, seeing themselves in a light they had never before imagined. Percy explained that the jaws of wisdom had taught him that true wisdom lies in understanding oneself and recognizing one's own strengths and fails, and in learning to listen not just to the world around us, but to the quiet voice within. He shared how setting boundaries and respecting oneself were as important as respecting others, and how the journey to wisdom was a path open to all who dared to tread it. The gift of the jaws of wisdom, he declared, was a reminder that each creature, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, carried within them a wellspring of wisdom and strength. It was a call to live with courage, to respect one's boundaries, and to embrace the lessons life offers with an open heart. The animals of the forest listened, enraptured by Percy's words and the profound simplicity of the message he brought back. There was a shift in the air, a soft murmur of leaves and whispers, as if the forest itself was acknowledging the return of its son, now bearer of wisdom. As the moon rose high, bathing the clearing in a silvery glow, a celebration ensued, not just for Percy's return, but for the journey each of them was inspired to embark upon. The forest hummed with a newfound harmony, a testament to the wisdom shared and the unity it fostered among its inhabitants. Percy, with the jaws of wisdom by his side, knew his journey was far from over. Yet, he also knew that he had taken the first steps on a path that would lead not just to his own growth, but to the flourishing of all who called the forest of friendship their home. The gift of the jaws of wisdom was not just a mirror, but a beacon, a guide to finding the wisdom that resides within us all, waiting to be discovered and shared. As the night deepened and the festivities continued, Percy looked upon the faces of his friends, their eyes reflecting the light of the moon, led them on their own journeys. He knew then that the true journey was one of the heart, a journey that each of them was now ready to embark upon, guided by the gift of the jaws of wisdom. The return and the revelation. Upon the morn of Percy's return, the forest of friendship awoke to a buzz of excitement that rippled through its leaves and boughs. The news of Percy's homecoming, carrying with him tales of distant lands and newfound wisdom, spread like wildfire, igniting a spark of anticipation in every heart and soul. The animals, from the tiniest ant to the most majestic stag, gathered in the great clearing where the elder tree stood tall and wise, its branches swaying gently in the morning breeze as if to welcome them all to the assembly of a lifetime. Percy, with the jaws of wisdom securely by his side, stepped into the clearing, greeted by a sea of eager faces. With a humble bow to the assembly, Percy began to share his journey, his voice resonating with the depth of experience and the lightness of heartfelt joy. He spoke of the path less pricked, his encounters with the elder trees, the mysterious whispers of the moon, the enlightening riddle of the river, and the transformative silence of the cave of whispers. With each tale, Percy unwove the fabric of his adventures, revealing the threads of wisdom he gleaned along the way. He spoke passionately about the importance of respecting personal space, the strength found in setting boundaries, and the courage required to listen to one's inner voice. Percy's stories were more than just narratives. They were reflections of a journey that transcended the physical, touching the very essence of what it meant to live in harmony with oneself and with others. As Percy shared his insights, the animals listened, rapt with attention. His words painted pictures in their minds, conjuring visions of their own potential paths of discovery. Percy's journey had not just transformed him. It was a beacon, illuminating the possibility of growth and understanding for each creature present. The assembly was a tapestry of emotions, of awe, contemplation, and a burgeoning sense of unity. Percy's tales did not just speak of his adventures. They spoke to the heart of every animal, echoing the universal truths of respect, understanding, and the delicate balance between individuality and community. As the tales wound to a close, the clearing was enveloped in a profound silence, a collective moment of reflection. The animals looked around at each other, seeing their friends and neighbors not just as fellow inhabitants of the forest, but as fellow travelers on the journey of life, each with their own paths, yet united in a shared destiny. Moved by Percy's words and the depth of the lessons he shared, the animals decided to celebrate this newfound understanding. A grand feast was organized, celebrating not just Percy's return, but the harmonious balance between friendship and personal space that his journey had illuminated. The feast was a spectacle of joy, with tables laden with the forest's bounty, music filling the air, and laughter echoing under the canopy. As the day gave way to a starlit night, the animals gathered under the vast expanse of the sky, their hearts full, their spirits lifted. They reflected on the tales Percy had shared, realizing that the journey had enriched not just Percy, but the entire forest community. The stories had sown seeds of wisdom that would grow and flourish in the hearts of all, fostering a community where respect, understanding, and personal boundaries were not just valued but celebrated. The story of Percy's journey and the lessons learned became a legacy, a treasure passed down through the ages, inspiring generations to come. As the night deepened, Percy looked around at the faces of his friends, their eyes reflecting the twinkling stars above. A sense of peace filled his heart, and a hopeful smile played on his lips. For he knew that the forest of friendship was on the cusp of new dawn. Guided by the wisdom of the past, on the promise of the future, the tale of the Porcupine's protection was not just a story. It was a journey, a revelation, and a testament to the power of understanding, respect, and the enduring bonds of friendship. In the heart of the forest of friendship, beneath the ancient boughs of the elder tree, the assembly of animals convened. The sun hissed in the sky, bathed the clearing in a warm golden light, setting the stage for a gathering that would be etched in the memory of the forest for generations to come. Percy stood before his friends, the jaws of wisdom clasped gently in his paws, a symbol of the journey he had undertaken and the truths he had come to share. The animals of the forest, from the smallest to the largest, had gathered around, their faces alight with curiosity and wonder. The air was filled with an expectant silence, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for the wisdom that was about to unfold. Percy began to speak, his voice clear and steady, carrying across the clearing. He talked about the importance of setting boundaries, not just for oneself, but as a sign of respect for others. He shared insights into the art of self-defense, not as a means of conflict, but as a measure of protection, emphasizing the significance of knowing when to stand firm and when to seek understanding. As Percy spoke, his words wove a spell over the assembly. Animals who had once thought little of personal space began to see the value in respecting it. Those who had been quick to encroach upon others' boundaries now understood the importance of mutual respect. Percy's journey, filled with challenges and revelations, served as a powerful lesson in the delicate balance between independence and community. The Porcupine's tales of adventure and wisdom sparked conversations among the animals. Squirrels chattered excitedly about the lessons of the elder trees, while deer whispered about the mysteries of the Cave of Whispers. Even the birds, perched high above, sang a different tune, one that spoke of understanding and respect. As the assembly drew to a close, Percy proposed a pledge, a promise for all the animals to respect each other's space and to protect the harmony of the forest. One by one, the animals stepped forward, each in their own way, committing to this new covenant. It was a moment of unity, a testament to the journey they had all shared through Percy's tales. The elder tree, under whose ancient branches the assembly had convened, seemed to nod in approval, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The forest, once a place of unchecked boundaries and occasional discord, was now transformed into a community of understanding and mutual respect. The assembly of animals marked a turning point for the forest of friendship. Percy's journey had not only changed him, but had also sown the seeds of change throughout the forest. The tales of his adventures and the lessons they held became a part of the forest's lore, stories to be told and retold, guiding the animals in their interactions with one another. As the animals dispersed, returning to their homes and droves, the clearing where the assembly had taken place remained bathed in sunlight, a silent witness to the transformation that occurred. The forest of friendship, through Percy's journey and the wisdom he had brought back, had become a beacon of respect, understanding, and mutual care. The legacy of the Porcupine non-protection lived on, not just in the tales passed down from generation to generation, but in the daily lives of the forest's inhabitants. It was a reminder that true strength lies in understanding respect and the courage to protect not just oneself, but the harmony of the community as a whole. As the assembly of animals concluded and the creatures of the forest began to disperse, a profound sense of peace settled over the forest of friendship. Percy, standing in the midst of this tranquility, felt a deep connection to every tree, every blade of grass, and every animal that called the forest home. He realized that his journey had not only transformed him, but had also woven a new thread of understanding and respect into the very fabric of the forest. In that moment of reflection, Percy felt compelled to share one final piece of wisdom, a proclamation that would encapsulate the essence of his journey and the lessons he had learned. He climbed atop a small hillock, making invisible to all who lingered in the coulee, their eyes turned to him in anticipation. "Friends of the forest," began, his voice resonating with a newfound authority, yet known with the familiarity of kinship. "Today, we have come together, not just in body, but in spirit, united by a common understanding. We have learned the importance of respecting each other's space, the strength that lies in setting boundaries, and the beauty of living in harmony." He paused, allowing his words to sink in, his gaze sweeping over the assembly. "But let this not be the end of our journey," he continued. "Let it be a beginning, a proclamation that the forest of friendship will stand as a testament to the power of respect, understanding, and mutual protection." Percy's voice grew stronger, fueled by the conviction of his heart. "I proclaim that henceforth we shall always strive to be guardians of our personal space and the space of others. We will honor the boundaries set by our friends not as barriers, but as bridges to deeper understanding and respect." The animals listened, rapt, as Percy spoke of a vision for the forest where every creature, big and small, felt safe. He envisioned a community where the lessons of the past were remembered, not as tales of caution, but as guiding stars for the future. To achieve this, Percy declared, we must all pledge to protect not only ourselves, but also those around us. We must stand together, united in our diversity, celebrating our differences and learning from them. Let the forest of friendship be a beacon of hope, a place where no creature knows the warmth of belonging and the strength of community. As Percy's proclamation echoed through the clearing, a hush fell over the forest. It was as if the very trees and the wind itself were listening, bearing witness to this moment of unity and promise. Then, as if on cue, the forest erupted into a symphony of sounds, a chorus of cheers, deer's howls and songs. The animals, from the tiniest insect to the loftiest eagle, voiced their assent, their commitment to the proclamation Percy had set forth. It was a sound of joy, of hope, and of a future forged in the lessons of the past. Percy looked out over his friends, his heart full. He had returned from his journey with more than just the jaws of wisdom. He had brought back a vision for a better world, a world that started here, in the heart of the forest of friendship. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in hues of gold and amber, Percy knew that this day would be remembered, not just for the words spoken, but for the promise made, a promise to live with respect, to cherish personal space, and to protect her bounds and so, the Porcupine proclamation became a cornerstone of the forest of friendship, a guiding principle that would lead the forest and its inhabitants into a future filled with respect, understanding, and peace. In the heart of the forest of friendship, as twilight embraced the world in a velvety hug, the animals began to gather once again. This time, it was not for a meeting or a proclamation, but for a celebration, the feast of friendship and fences. Under the canopy of stars, the forest was alive with the sounds of laughter and music, a testament to the unity and respect that now thronged its inhabitants. The clearing had been transformed into a tableau of togetherness, with lanterns hanging from the branches, casting a soft glow over the festivities. Tables laden with an assortment of forest delicacies stretched across the cooling, each dish a contribution from the various creatures, symbolizing the diversity and cooperation that have become the foundation of our community. Percy, the honored guest, moved among his friends, sharing stories and laughter. His heart swelled with joy as he witnessed the harmony that his journey had helped to foster. The feast was not just a celebration of food and friendship. It was a celebration of boundaries respected and personal spaces cherished, a tangible manifestation of the lessons learned and the growth achieved. As the night deepened, the elder owl, revered for her wisdom and age, called for silence. The chatter ceased, and all eyes turned toward her as she took her place at the center of the clearing. Night, she began, her voice imbued with the weight of years and the softness of affection. We celebrate not only the bonds that tie us together, but also the fences that give us the freedom to be ourselves. She gestured to Percy, inviting him to join her. Percy's journey, his quest for the joys of wisdom, has taught us all valuable lesson. That true friendship does not suffocate, but gives room to breathe, to grow, and to be. The animals nodded, their eyes reflecting the flickering lantern light and the wisdom in the elder owl's words. Let this feast, she continued, be a reminder of the delicate balance between closeness and distance, between togetherness and individuality. With those words, the feast began in earnest. The air was filled with the melodies of flutes and strings, played by the birds and the insects. The tables became centers of shared stories and laughter, as dishes were passed from paw to paw, from claw to claw, in a dance of unity and mutual respect. It was a feast unlike any the forest had seen before. It was a feast that celebrated not just the joy of being together, but the beauty of acknowledging, introspecting each other's space. The animals understood that fences, both literal and metaphorical, did not divide them, but rather allowed them to live side by side in harmony. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, casting its silvery light over the jubilant gathering, the forest of friendship was alight with a magic of its own making. It was a magic woven from the threads of understanding, respect, and love, a magic that promised to sustain and nurture the forest and its inhabitants for generations to come. The feast of friendship and fences would be remembered as a milestone in the history of the forest, a testament to the power of Percy's journey and the lessons it had imparted. It was a celebration that marked the beginning of a new era for the forest of friendship, an era of balanced bonds and respected boundaries, under the watchful eyes of the stars and the guidance of the wise elder owl. And as the feast drew to a close, with hearts full and spirits lifted, the animals of the forest knew that they had witnessed the dawn of a new day. A day where every creature could thrive, surrounded by friendship, by protected by the fences as the standard of the church. As the feast of friendship and fences wound down, a tranquil hush fell over the forest of friendship. The animals, their bellies full and hearts content, gathered in a circle under the vast, starlit sky. The night was draped in a cloak of serenity. The only sounds were the gentle rustling of leaves and the soft, soothing whisper of the night breeze. Percy, standing in the center of the circle, gazed up at the twinkling stars, their light a mirror to the newfound understanding and respect that shimmered within each creature present. It was a moment for reflection, for looking back at the journey that had led them to this point, and for pondering the path that lay ahead. The elder owl, her eyes gleaming with wisdom, spoke softly. Tonight, we stand together not just as friends, but as a community bound by the lessons we've learned. Percy, your journey has been a beacon guiding you as to the importance of boundaries and the respect for personal space. Nods and murmurs of agreement echoed through the circle, each animal reflecting their own journey towards understanding and acceptance. Percy, feeling a warmth spread through him, replied, "This journey wasn't just mine. It belongs to all of us. It was about finding balance, about knowing that it's okay to say no, to set limits so that we can say yes to true friendship and respect." The conversation flowed, with each animal sharing their reflections and revelations. They spoke of the moments that had challenged them, the insights they had gained, and how Percy's adventure had inspired them to embrace their individuality while still cherishing the bonds of community. A young rabbit, always eager and curious, shared, "I learned that my burrow is my sanctuary, and it's okay to invite others in only when I feel comfortable. It's made my friendships stronger because they're built on respect." The wise old badger, his voice deep and thoughtful, added, "And I've realized that respecting others' boundaries makes the time we spend together even more valuable. It's about quality, not quantity." As they shared, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, their light a silent testament to the growth and wisdom that filled the clearing. The forest itself, with its ancient trees and whispering leaves, seemed to acknowledge the profound shift in its heart. Percy looked around at his friends, their faces illuminated by starlight and the glow of understanding. "Our journey doesn't end here," he said, his voice steady and clear. "It continues every day, with every choice we make to respect ourselves and each other." The elder owl, her eyes reflecting the stars above, spoke once more. "Let the sky tonight remind us of our journey, of the lessons learned and the friendships forged. Let it be a guide for future generations, a story of how the forest of friendship found its balance." And so, under the starlit sky, the animals of the forest of friendship made a silent vow. They promised to carry the lessons of their journey forward, to live each day with respect for themselves and for one another. They understood now that boundaries were not barriers, but bridges that connected them in ways deeper and meaningful than they had ever imagined. The night wore on, and one by one, the animals retired to their homes, their hearts light and spirits buoyed by the promise of tomorrow. Percy, looking up at the stars one last time, felt a profound sense of peace. He knew that the forest of friendship was forever changed, its foundation stronger and more resilient because of the journey they had shared. As the first rays of dawn began to streak the sky with gold, the forest of friendship slept, wrapped in the embrace of a night filled with reflections and revelations. And above them all, the stars kept watch, Soon the guardians of a forest united by the wisdom of boundaries and the strength of true friendship. In the days that followed, the forest of friendship blossomed in ways it never had before. The lessons learned from Percy's journey and the insights shared under the starlit sky took root, growing into a vibrant tapestry of mutual respect, understanding, compassion, and enveloped every tree, every pomero, and every nest. Percy, now revered not just as a friend, but as a guide, took it upon himself to ensure that the legacy of their collective journey would endure. He began to craft tales of his adventure, weaving into them the wisdom of setting boundaries, the importance of personal space, and the strength found in mutual respect. These tales, told with the warmth and care of a true storyteller, became a staple at the forest gatherings, a shared treasure that parents whispered to their young under the glow of the moonlight. The elder owl, with her vast knowledge and deep understanding, suggested creating a space within the forest where animals could come to learn and reflect, a sanctuary of sorts. Inspired by this idea, the animals worked together to create the circle of reflection, a serene clearing surrounded by the oldest trees in the forest, where anyone could come to find peace, seek guidance, or share wisdom. As the seasons changed, travelers from distant forests and mountains came to visit, drowned by tales of a forest where animals lived in harmony, respecting each other's boundaries while fostering a deep sense of community. Percy, with his gentle manner and insightful words, became a mentor to many. His stories a beacon, it illuminated the path to understanding and respect. The circle of reflection grew in renown, becoming a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to learn the art of living in harmony with others. Percy, alongside the elder owl and other wise animals at the forest, hosted gatherings where they shared their stories and lessons, each tale a thread in the ever-expanding tapestry of their shared legacy. The true testament to the legacy of the learned lessons was seen in the daily lives of the forest's inhabitants. Disputes were resolved with understanding and empathy, friendships deepened, and the forest thrived as a place of safety and respect. Young learned from the old, and the old found renewal in the perspectives of the young, creating a cycle of learning and growth that enriched every aspect of life in the forest. As years passed, Percy often found himself wandering the paths of the forest of friendship, his heart full of joy at the harmony that surrounded him. He saw the impact of their shared journey in the laughter of playing cubs, in the peaceful coexistence of the forest's diverse inhabitants, and in the vibrant gatherings of the circle of reflection. One evening, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Percy stood at the edge of the circle of reflection, the elder owl by his side. He watched in silence as the stars began to twinkle in the twilight, a mirror to the light of understanding and respect that now defined the forest of friendship. It began with a journey. Percy murmured, his voice tinged with wonder. And it continues with a legacy. The elder owl replied, her voice as soft as the evening breeze. A legacy of lessons learned, of boundaries respected, and of friendships that transcend the mere sharing of space. This is the legacy you have helped forge, Percy. A legacy that will guide this forest and perhaps others for generations to come. Percy looked out over the forest, his heart swelling with pride and hope. He knew that the journey was never truly over, It lived on in the legacy they had created, in the stories that would be told, and in the lessons that would be passed down through the ages. And as night fell upon the forest of friendship, it was clear that the legacy of the learned lessons was a living, breathing essence that would continue to grow, to inspire and to unite, just as the stars above united to light the night sky.